Hello and welcome to Reginaldesq. I'm Underhook and this is my review of the Tier 7 German heavy tank, the Tiger P. So is it any good? No, it's awful. Is it the worst Tier 7 heavy tank? No. The Black Prince is the worst Tier 7 heavy tank, so it's not as bad as the Black Prince, but it is bad. It's worse than the Tiger 1, and why? What's wrong with it? Well, it has poor gun depression, poor gun handling, is very, very slow, poor track traverse. The armor is okay if you're top tier, otherwise it's useless, and the gun handling isn't very good, and low alpha. I don't know, it's just not very good. It's not just me that thinks that. A lot of people in the forums said it was pretty bad as well, and there's a bit of a trick to this tank. If we have a look at the tech tree, basically the reason you would go for the Tiger P is, well, you go the Tiger 1 if you want to get to the 100, and you go the Tiger P if you want to get to the VK here, the good side scraping one with the rear-mounted turret, or the mouse at tier 10. So you pretty much have to go through it if you want to get to those. But what they have done, if you want to elite your Tiger P, you have to unlock 4 tanks apart from grinding through all the modules. So I have unlocked here the VK4502A, which was 99,000 XP. I already had the Tiger 1 unlocked from when I did that line, but I think that's probably about 100,000 XP. We have the other VK here, 100.01p at 101,500 XP, and for some inexplicable reason, it's also linked to the Ferdinand with 150,000 XP. So if you wish to elite this tank, it'll take you 450,000 XP, as well as all the modules, and I believe this is done with crap tanks. Someone on the forums told me that WG has even admitted that these are free XP sinks. What they try and do is get you to spend money to free XP the tank. So they get a tank that's really terrible, they link a whole bunch of tanks to it, so you kind of have to free XP your way through. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I wouldn't put it past them, eh? The other thing is, you will note I have got a mark of excellence on this tank, so I must be doing okay in it, right? No. I have a win rate of 46%. I've played 80 games. And my damage ratio is only 0.81. That means I receive more damage than I dish out in this tank, and I'm still better than 65% of players in it, which tells me this is an awful tank. So yeah, let's have a look. Actually, I'll tell you my crew. My crew is fully trained, although he's still working on 6th Sense, so it's a fairly newish crew. This guy's working on Snapshot, this guy's working on Clutch Braking, which is a definite need in this tank. This guy's working on situational awareness, and this guy's working on concealment, and I have a gun laying drive fitted to try and speed up the aiming time, gun rammer to speed up the loading time, of course, and vents to help improve the loading and aiming time yet again. Oops, I forgot to mention the guns for the tank. Basically, there's only one tank worth getting, and that's the 88cm here. Which is the top gun. There is a 105cm HE gun here, but considering that most of the time you're against at least tier 8 or tier 9 tanks, it doesn't really do any damage. It does about 100 damage per shot. It's pretty much useless. This gun is the main gun. It's an 88, 6.98 rate of fire, which is tragically slow. 203 millimeters of pen is pretty good. 240 damage is pretty low, and but it's okay. 0.34 dispersion is okay, but it's fiction. It's not very accurate at all, actually. And 2.9 second aiming time is awful. Okay, so we have the Tiger P and the Tiger 1 next to it. Then we have the AMX, has a very similar gun to both these tanks. Then we have the T29, which is a fantastic tank. The IS and the Black Prince, which is the worst of the bunch. So you can see how DPM is equal lowest here with the AMX 45. Basically, we have the same gun as the Tiger 1, but it just doesn't work as well in the Tiger P. So 203mm of penetration, same as the Tiger 1, not as much as the AMX, and more than all the others. The worst is, of course, the poor old Black Prince was 171. Damage of 240 isn't great, but it's the same as the Tiger 1 and the same as the AMX. The T29 has a fantastic 320 considering the gun handling. The IS has 390 and the poor old Black Prince has 150. The rate of fire 6.98, which is not good. It's the same as the AMX, but you'll notice the Tiger 1 with an identical gun has an 8.96 rate of fire. So if you're caught out in the open against the Tiger 1 will win. What else can we tell you here? Caliber of the gun, we know that. Shell velocity of 1,000 is good, and all of these three here have 1,000, which is better than the other guys. The IS has a slow 780. The ammo capacity is not a problem. There's no way you'll ever use up that much ammunition. Aim time of 2.9 seconds is awful. The only one's worse is the IS, which is 390 alpha damage gun. It has 3.4 seconds of aiming time, but all the others are better. The Tiger 1, which is the identical gun, is 2.7, and the AMX has 2.5. So not only did it have better penetration for the same alpha damage, it also has a far better aim time. Dispersion 0.34, 0.34, 0.36 on the M45. The others are a bit worse, of course, bigger guns. However, the dispersion upon moving or traversing the tank is far worse on Tiger P than anything other than the T29. The elevation of the gun is 17 degrees, which is fine, but the gun depression is only 6 degrees, whereas we have 7 on the Tiger and 10 on the AMX, and of course 10 on the T29 and the others as well. The only other one that has 6 is the IS. Forward speed of 35 isn't good, although it's better than the IS and way better than the Black Prince. 12 in reverse, only one that's faster than that is the IS, which has 14 in reverse. The powder weight ratio is the worst of all of them. The terrain resistance is also the worst of all of them. The turret traverse of 23 is the second worst. The Tiger 1 has a worse turret traverse at just 18. And the track traverse is the second worst. Only the Black Prince is worse at 20, and we have 22. So very poor maneuverability. Terrain resistances are basically the worst of any of the other Tier 7 tanks as well. So this thing is basically very, very, very slow. Hull armor is, in theory, the best of the bunch at 200 frontally, and turret armor is 188. It's exactly the same turret as on the Tiger 1. The T29, of course, has the best turret armor, and the Black Prince actually has fairly good turret armor as well. The hit points of 1450 are not too bad, and what else can we tell you? View range is good at 380, same as the Tiger and the T29. Radio is not a problem, and that's about it. We're on the Tanks GG website, and we're looking at the Tiger P. So the upper plate and the driver's plate, I guess, are the two thickest parts of the armour, and they are 200mm, which is quite good. Front on like this, that's dead flat, so it just comes up as 200mm. This one's slightly angled, and you get about 210, 211mm out of it. Angled, it's not too bad, actually 270s, 300 even up there, so it's pretty good on an angle. The lower plate though isn't very good. Even angled it's 170, 180. Front on it's only 80mm, so it doesn't give that much. So the lower plate is definitely a weakness frontally. This little section here, which is heavily sloped, is only 60mm, but it's basically a ricochet angle for most tanks. The big weakness from the front here is actually these side areas. It's got these sort of angled bits at the front, which are not the 200mm, that are only 80mm, which is a huge difference. So if you have one frontally where the lower plate is covered, you've got 202mm to pen here, or you can go 115mm to pen here. So it's quite an easy pen, this tank, if you know where to shoot it. Basically lower plate or the side, the slopey sides. The turret is the same, pretty much the same as the Tiger, except it has a much larger cupola than the Tiger. But the cupola is much stronger than it is on the Tiger. So it's 125mm. I think it's only about 80mm on the Tiger 1. So yeah, but it's still a fairly easy pen. And considering this tank only has 6 degrees of gun depression, it's pretty easy to hit, because you're not really, if you're shooting over a hill, you're still going to be exposing it. So that's a definite weakness. There's nowhere this tank can go where it can be strong. Side scraping, the sides are 80mm, and if you angle enough to make the front good or to get your gun out, your side becomes an easy pen, plus this section here becomes really easy to pen. So that's just how it is. Side of the turret and the bottom 80mm, rear of the tank is 80. The rear deck here, this section from here is 40mm, which is all right, but the top deck's only 25mm, and so is the top of the turret. So artillery will fully penetrate you if they hit you on the top deck. The mantlet is, I'd say it was the same as a Tiger, but it's not bad. So the actual armor is 100mm, but this has 50mm of spaced armor overlaying 100. It's very patchy. Like here, it's 160mm. Here, it's 160. It's very flat, of course. 150 here. There, we've got a section that's 230. It just depends on the overlays, but anywhere from a bounce to about 150mm on the front of the turret. So it's not that good. Okay. The map is Karelia, and it's a tier 9 game, which is not good for us because we're a tier 7 heavy. Oh dear. Anyway, I wanted to show you this game to show you what it's like against tier 9s, and whilst this isn't a fantastic game, I thought I played really well, but I was still unhappy when I saw the results, and I think you'll get an idea of why here. So originally I start heading down to the normal sort of heavy tank position, and then I realised, what am I doing? My armour is not going to stop anything from a tier 9 or a tier 8. I'm just going to meet those tanks there and they're going to blow me away. So I decided to head more towards sort of the medium tank area and see if I can get some long range shots on people. And yeah, confronting other heavy tanks when you're not top tier is not a good idea in this tank. A bit like a Tiger 1, it is very similar. So let's see if we can hit this AMX here. As you can see, very long aim time, especially for such a low alpha gun. And he's gone. So as you saw, going up the hill there was pretty slow. We're going downhill now, we're doing 34, close to our maximum speed of 35. But like driving across big open areas like this is terrifying because you just know if you're spotted, you're gonna die. So that's why I'm staying as close to this left edge here as I can to try and keep my maximum distance, so make it as hard for people to spot me as possible. I'm just going to speed up to 2 times now because really, actually let's make that 4 times because moving into position this tank isn't terribly exciting. Alright, we'll go down to normal speed here because maybe I'm about to get a shot, I don't know. He's disappeared. I don't really want to get spotted by an AMX at this stage, so I'm not going to try and out-spot him. Speed up to 2 times. I figure I'm just going to get up here on this ridge line here and just wait to see if anything gets spotted. So being very cautious in the T9 game. Okay, back to normal speed, and we've got a bat chat here. And we actually get that shot into him. I fire before I'm fully aimed there because I could tell he was going to duck back in, but look, he's going in and out. I would have been better to fully aim. So this time I decide to fully aim before shooting, and we get it in. So our low alpha damage is still having an impact on such a small light tank, which is good. Oh, why didn't I see him there? Was I aimed too high? I think I was. Don't think he's going to come out again. Oh, here we go, here we go. Fire. Okay, we hit him, but we didn't do any damage. We tracked him, but we didn't do any damage. So his tracks absorbed that shot, unfortunately, and now he's below our below the hill there. We can't shoot him. So at least we're not getting pelted from the hill or anything. We might be a bit too far away for them to shoot us from here. We might be out of range, out of their draw distance. Is he going to come up the hill? Come on. Come get some. Here we go, we might have a shot here. No, he's down here. So while we're waiting for some more action, I don't know if you're aware of how the Tiger P actually got its name. When, not many people know about this bit of history, but when they first produced this tank, they gave it to some crews for testing, and they decided to test it out against the Tiger 1. Now, as you saw from my review there, I got penetrated by that VK there, but we managed to hit him and destroy him. But as you may remember from the review there, the Tiger 1 has a much better rate of fire than this tank does. So they went up against the Tiger to test it out, and the Tiger pissed all over them. So the tank became known as Tiger P. Oh dear. It's the way I tell them. Anyway. We are getting capped. So can I get a shot into whoever's capping us? Take my time, fully aim, and we actually get to kill him. Well, there you go. OP premium tank, and we killed it. This guy's caught out in the open. The Panther here. Yes, we're the hero of the day, and we bounced the T-43-3, but he's 390 alpha damage. I think he's only got 175 pen, so he may have hit one of those 200 mil sections of our armor. I don't know how I possibly bounced off that ISU frontally there. I think we hit his gun. I can't think of any other reason why we would have bounced. I'm going to go out for another shot because we're going to get beat in a minute, but he may be waiting for me. No, he's behind a rock. Let's see if we can get this back chat then. Oh, what's this guy? Here is the T-34-3 Chinese medium tank. Anyway, he bounced off us again. We actually bounce again off this ISU. How is that even possible? We get it by artillery for 297. Like I said, does hurt us bad. He gets one into us. We finally penetrate him though, but he gets one into us. And we're doing alright, T9 game. We get eliminated by the bat chat who snuck around the back there. Oh well. So it wasn't a great game, but we did manage to bounce some shots there, which was good. And we played conservatively in a Tier 9 game. I thought it was a pretty good game. But then when I saw the results, I thought, well, it wasn't really that good. Look, sure, we came top on our team for experience somehow. But we did 1,312 damage. We've got 1,450 hit points, so we didn't even do our hit points worth of damage, because with such low alpha damage, you've got to hit a lot to really do that. And that's why, like I said, I've got 0.81 damage ratio on this tank. 14 shots fired, 11 hits for 7 penetrations, 1,312 damage. And we received 8 hits, got 5 penetrations, so we did manage to bounce that Chinese tank there. 1,100 blocked by damage, which is pretty good. 7 damage, 3 destroyed, which was not a bad effort. We made not much at all. It's not a profitable tank. Alright, we are back on Corellia again, although this time it's, I think they call it encounter, don't they? We've got to defend anyway. So the last game we saw what happened when we were bottom tier in a Tier 9 game. This time we're top tier in a Tier 7 game. The enemy team has a Tiger 1, a Panther and a Scorpion at Tier 7. We have Tiger P, Comet and the SU-122 who's just loaded into the game. So I'm moving across and I've decided I want to go, so I'm not going to go anywhere near the right flank there, or the bottom flank, whatever you want to call it, south flank. Because you kind of need gun depression there, and I've only got 6 degrees of gun depression, so I don't want to be somewhere where I need to rely on popping over a ridge to shoot. So I have already decided that I'm going to kind of YOLO it. Like I say, when you're top tier, the armor can kind of work, especially if people don't know where to shoot. So if they don't shoot those side angle panels, and they don't shoot the lower plate, you can kind of bounce a fair few shots. So we're just going to try and go for it. So same map. Last game was bottom tier, this time top tier. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to speed it up to 2 times here because not much is happening. I see here the KV2 is sort of hanging back, which is probably not what he should be doing given the gun he's got and the fact that he's a fairly high tier heavy in this game. Anyway, So my biggest fear right now, as I see the KV2 hanging back there, is that no one's going to come with me, because what I really need is at least one other tank with me here in case somebody decides to rush around the corner and get behind me, because this thing turns really slowly. So I'm sort of expecting there to be someone up where that bush is there on the top of the hill, and I'm expecting someone to be right behind this rock here as well, just sort of waiting for me. So I'm getting ready to shoot whoever's behind the rock whilst keeping my eye out right there for anybody trying to pop over the ridge. He looks a bit too far at the moment, but there's another tank there. Okay, so we've got a couple of tanks a little way back. Can we get this guy? No, not yet. Looks like there's no one behind the rock, but this guy's coming over the ridge and he's experimental. He misses me, fortunately, and we put one into his turret for 210. Oh, looks like artillery hits him for 409, and our second shot, he didn't have much health left, so it finished him off. Now, the T-150 there, very good tank, that T-150. He gets hit by Artie, he's been exposing his turret a little bit. Here he is, can we hit it? Oh, look how slow the turret rotation is. Oh, God, it's horrible. So I decided just to put pressure on him now, because he's being like super cautious, whereas he really should just be having a shot at me, because he can pen me, no problem. And it's a very good tank, that one. Anyway, there's a VK there. Now I can see there's a dead tank. I'm going to use that dead tank between us. Let's see if I can get him here. And I'm going to be using that dead tank for a bit of coverage. See, so I get a shot into him. VK3601H, I think that's it's medium. I think it's a very good tank from what I can remember. Or quite good anyway. I like that tank from recollection when I played it. So now I'm going to move around. We get hit by Artie here, but I'm going to move around. I tempt him into a shot. He does. He shoots. But he also moves into a pretty safe spot there. I'm just going to push him. So I get that shot into him. Now I'm angling back in to get behind the wall here while I reload. Coming out, angling my front of my tank. He can't see my lower plate. And we somehow managed to hit with that, even though it looked like he was gone before I fired. Now I'm just basically sitting here while I reload. I bounce that shot, and he finally has the guts to shoot at me and gets one into me. He makes the mistake though of coming at me front on, and I get a good pen. I was going to have trouble penning him when he was actually leaning back where he was before, but because my gun depression was not so good. But once he started driving at me, it allowed me to get him frontally, and he was driving straight at me. So angled, I would have had trouble penning him there. Artie is loving us, and that's why I really want these other tanks to move with me, because I'm taking damage and they're not taking any damage. So the enemy has lost now 5 tanks, and we've just lost our third one. The KV2 has gone down. Trying to keep as much cover here as I can to conceal my conceal me as much as possible on the way down here. And here we find that 3001H. I didn't know he was here. It was just when we spotted him there. He shoots us but bounces off us. His gun does 350 damage, so that's fortunate. I give him a little bit of a ram to keep him track. Put another into him. Move forward again, and he donks the shot. So by moving forward into what I was trying to do there was stop him from hitting my lower plate, and also make it harder to hit those side angle plates, because his gun would have to be on an extreme angle to hit them. And it seemed to work. So he hit us twice there. You can see that it's got the little shields, 350 damage each shot. If he had hit us, we'd have been in trouble. So aiming on this like, I'm fully expecting to get penetrated here, but I want to get a shot in. But for some reason, he ran before he took a shot. So he was lined up on us, saw us, and just took off instead of firing a shot and then taking off. I do not understand why he did what he did there. Maybe we weren't... No, we were spotted. I'm sure we were. Anyway, I'm waiting for him to come out and have another shot, and here he comes. And he sort of came halfway and decided to go back again. I don't know what he was doing, but maybe I assume he wasn't a very experienced player there. So, anyway. But as you can see, just basically like low tiers, like tier sort of 5 and 6 tanks, you can pretty much muscle in on them. If they fire goal, of course you're in trouble, or if they know where to shoot you, you could be in trouble, or if they just decide to drive around the back of you, you're in trouble because it turns awfully. Low hit points, that guy, so 240 is our average damage. We did exactly average damage, and it was enough to one-shot him. Artillery splashes just behind me, missing me there. I've got this guy behind me who hasn't actually been helping me. He's just been hanging around like a bad smell. But anyway, just trying to pick off my kills, I think. So I missed that shot. My tank goes up a little bit of a hill. I see the arty there, but don't worry about it. I want to get this guy. And we put one into him for 209. Moving up now. And gun depression. I cannot get my gun on him. So I go for a ram, but the other guy kills it. But yeah, you can see the terrible gun depression. I couldn't get my gun on him. I don't want to go up the hill because I'm too slow going up hills, and I know there's this arty here, and there's also the Tiger 1. And I figure I'm probably the best equipped to penetrate the Tiger 1 anyway, so I may as well go for him and not worry. By the time I got up the top of the hill, the game would be over. And there's arty. He's not even looking at me, so this is good. He knows I'm here though. And did we get the kill there? I think we did. We need this Tiger now for a Top Gun. Come on, Top Gun! And he's in the perfect position. Aiming in, and I fire in frustration there at the end because I missed him. Oh, can I get this guy though? There's still a chance for a Top Gun. As you can see, it's tragically slow turning, but he comes out for us. 230. No! No Top Gun today. So somehow that game turned out to be a mastery game. Also, that's the game that I got my Mark of Excellence in. We also got, I think it's Pascusi medal for killing a couple of arty, and we got high caliber as well. Let's have a look at the next screen. Actually, look at that. We did a fair bit of initial spotting as well. Okay, so we finished obviously on top for our team with 1,278 XP, which turns out to be mastery. 2,876 damage with 5 kills, and you can see the next highest damage was this SU-122 here with 1,900. So we did fairly well considering the low alpha damage of the gun. 17 shots fired, 15 of them hit, 14 penetrated. So when you're top tier, the 203mm of penetration is very good. And we did well there. 2,876 damage received. We received 7 hits, only 2 of them penetrated, so I managed to bounce 5 shots there. If you use the armor well when you're top tier, it's pretty good. Damage blocked by armor was 1,105. We spotted 5, we damaged 8, destroying 5, and we also did 893 assistance damage as well, which would have helped with the XP for that mastery badge. We did make pretty good credits in this game, 41,000. Generally speaking, not a great credit earning tank. Thank you for watching my review of the Tiger P. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to Reginaldesq. And have fun.